Hello, welcome into my new review of Bravo's reboot of Ladies of London New Reign. This first episode was titled, I believe, The New Reign. This is season 4, episode 1. It is a reboot. I was like, why are they saying season 4 if it's new? But this is a reboot of Ladies of London, which was a Bravo show. I believe Caroline Stansberry from the Housewives of Dubai was a part of the original cast, but now they are back with a different cast. I wasn't going to cover it. I am a little bit behind. So we are going to get the first 3 episodes covered in 3 different videos. But this is the premiere video, which we're basically just going to kind of get to know the cast because there wasn't too much that happened drama-wise. But this was requested by one of our subscribers who is now also a moderator. So shout out to Shani. She requested that we cover this show, and I do what I can. So if the people request it, then I will cover it. But we are going to get into getting to know this cast. But before we do that, I do thank everybody for watching. I encourage everybody to check out the links in the description of this video. I do a lot of live streams with my co-host and my best friend who I have a joint channel with, James, from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. And then I also highlight a bunch of other great Black content creators in the description as well. So feel free to click, go see them, subscribe, tell them that Mrs. Best referred you over. And let's get into this episode, beautiful people. So we have a cast full of people. Some of them are originally from London. Some of these ladies are from America. I like that they mixed in the cast. A lot of these people seem like actual, if you're from London, what is that, a British socialite, I suppose? And it was interesting to kind of see how they would do a reboot and see what's going on there at this time. So the main cast members that we have are going to be Emma, who is from London. We have Margot, who I believe is originally from North Carolina. We have Kemi, who is a socialite. And there's also Mark, who is also a socialite. Kemi has been in London for most of her adult life. She has been there for 25 years, but she is originally from the United States of America. We also have socialite, another socialite by the name of Martha, who is from London. We also, I forgot to say that Mark is an antiques collector, and it looks like the one male cast member on the cast. I want to say he's gay, but I don't want to say he's gay, but I'm going to assume that he is. But I did like Mark. Then we also have Lottie, who is a designer, who is also married to a gentleman named Joshua Kane, who works in fashion. He's a celebrity designer to the stars. We have Missy, who's a supermodel and former WAG, who is originally from Sweden. And then we have Mika, who is an etiquette expert from the United States of America, who's living over in London. Now, there are some other cast members we're going to meet, but the way they got into this was different. But Mark is kind of used, it seems, as like the heart of the group, that person that gets along with every single person in the group or knows of everybody. He just seems to be a part of the who's who. I didn't mind Mark. He did kind of at times make it feel generic, like he was putting on for the camera, but overall, I feel like he's doing his duty. He's giving us a vibe, and he brings a lot of personality to the show. So I did not mind Mark thus far. Now, we see Mark going over some jokes, and they're basically talking to Mika. They're at a little event, and they speak about a woman named Dara, who is also going to be a cast member in the show who we've not been introduced yet. But it seems that there's a rumor going around that Dara is a madam. And Mika goes hard to defend Dara because the way Mika describes it, she's like, this is my friend. She's a good person. And that's when we finally get introduced to Dara. Mika was riding hard for Dara. She was like, don't talk about my friend. Don't call her a madam. Mika said, don't even joke like that. Because, or I think it's Micah, however the hell you say her name. But Micah was like, don't joke about Dara like that because Dara is an architect. She's accomplished. Let's not call her a madam. So Mark, we end up meeting Dara, and it's interesting because we see Micah going super hard for Dara, but then Dara doesn't seem to claim Micah at all. And some of the ways they explain this is like, Micah's like, I've known her for over 20 years. And Dara's like, yeah, I knew her, but I didn't really talk to her. We didn't really know each other like that. And Mika's like, oh, we've developed this great friendship over the years. And Dara's like, I mean, we see each other because her office is above me. But it seemed like this lady like did not want to claim Micah as a friend. And I was like, okay, that's shady. That's really, really shady. And it's shady for a whole bunch of like, why are you being like this? You're being filmed on camera. You have to know that what you say will end up on television. Somebody may see it. And for you to just be saying it so comfortably like that, Dara, you obviously don't give a flying you know what about Micah. But I'll digress. That's just my first impression that I got of Dara. And Dara's name comes up again at this event, fast forwarding. And this is when Margot and Martha come in to comment. And Martha admits that she's been spreading the rumor about Dara being a madam. I said, what the hell is wrong with her? Hi, Martha. That's an interesting way to be introduced to you. But Martha is basically like, I spread the rumor. I don't care. And Micah goes in defending Dara even further. And now that we got to see a little bit of Dara, I was like, I just could not help but think like, it was cringy to watch because it's like, no, Micah, don't defend her. This is not your friend. I learned we were all 5 minutes into the episode, and I was like, this is not your friend. But, you know, Micah's in her own little world and continues to defend her, even though the girl wouldn't do the same. Now, we later see Missy, the model from Sweden, talking to Lottie, and she's talking to Lottie about the situation with Dara and Micah. And apparently, my feelings on Dara were confirmed through Missy because Missy says that she has heard Dara talking about Micah in a way that makes it seem as if Dara is embarrassed of Micah and does not want to be her friend, or maybe her friend out of pity. So that is an important thing because for episode 2, especially, it will be relevant. But Lottie pretty much told Missy, like, I think it's best that you just mind your business. You don't want to get wrapped up into too much, which I agreed. I said, so Lottie, you're going to be the one with some sense. And I love that her name is Lottie because in my little pea brain, Lottie just aligns with somebody who's from London. It's the perfect name. I love it. And this is where we learn that Lottie, who is married to the fashion designer, Joshua Kane, she is pregnant. This is the smallest pregnant lady that I have seen. And I'm looking at the picture now, the graphic, and I'm like, maybe she was pregnant because she's kind of like holding her mid area, but she is small. This is the dream. This is the actual dream, to be pregnant and that small. But we learn a little bit more about some of the ladies. Like Martha is known as Lady Martha. Titles are a thing over in London. And this is because she married a baronet. Let me explain something to y'all. I'm just a Black girl from Oakland, California. I don't know what the hell a baronet is. I don't know who's a lady, a first lady. I know what a first lady of a church is. I don't know any of that. I will look into it since I will be covering this show. But I guess a lot of these people are socialites in the UK, but they also seem to be connected to, I guess, royalty or have official titles based on marriage or who they used to be married to. Another person with the title is Emma. She seems to be the one with the most relevant current title. She is an aristocrat and the first Black woman who's married into an aristocrat family over in London. She is also half Nigerian. She and her husband run the Leet House. I guess it's like something very popular in the world. It's open to the public. It's the largest house in the UK. It was controversial when they decided to open it up to the public. And in addition to it being open to the public, she also lives there. So she's quite looped into her title versus it being something that was a past title. She's still married to her husband. But her life is interesting. I mean, who would think that someone could live in a public space where millions of people are visiting every year while traveling? I wouldn't trust none of my stuff. I would have cameras everywhere. It would legit be like the CIA up in that joint. Like I couldn't have so many people passing through, but I guess that's the way they do things out there. Now they did throw some shade toward what is that lady's name? The black lady that didn't claim black people until the British people didn't claim her because she was black, and then she tried to reclaim the black people. Meghan Markle. That lady. They were throwing shade at Meghan Markle, talking about she's actually not the first black woman to marry into royalty. I'm like, okay, all right, geez. Well, my goodness, I didn't know we were fighting over titles. Either way, y'all both are looked at as black and viewed as less than to a certain extent. So I don't see what all of this is about, but all right. But Emma is the who's who, and I'm happy she's here. And she's also buff as hell. You can tell this lady stay in the gym. But we move on to Martha and her damn bird. I think his name is Hecate or something like that. Beautiful bird. Let me tell y'all this. I like birds, but I believe birds, if they're my pet, I'm going to get the biggest cage that I could find. She reminds me of like the British Monique from Potomac because she was so into her bird. But why was the thing flying all over the house? Now, Martha was interesting. At first, I was looking at Martha and Kimmy like, oh, they seem really messy. But Martha's interesting. She has this bird that's her companion, flies around her house. She's extremely British. Her house seemed cramped and small. She said that she just moved there. And we learned that she grew up rich, but she lost all of her money, married up, lost all of her money, married up again, ended up homeless. Like, she has a crazy story. She ended up leaving her last marriage with absolutely nothing. Martha was interesting, her story. So it looks like we're going to watch her kind of rebuilding her life, kind of like Kenya Moore when she first came on Housewives of Atlanta. I think that that is the best thing because it gives a storyline. It also makes her relatable. And I think for a lot of the American audience, it is interesting for us to see somebody rebuilding their life in a country that we are not familiar with. So I look forward to Martha's storyline. Let me know if y'all look forward to her storyline, but I definitely look forward to it. I find it to be kind of interesting. Next person we're going to get to know is Margot. She's an actress. She has 3 kids and a husband. She's controversial for being an American woman that came over to the UK, and she did a movie that was considered extremely adult. Apparently, word on the curb is she made an actor ejaculate in a sex scene. I guess it was a sex scene where they did not pretend to have sex. They were actually having sex. And the Brits were not happy with it. She took some time away from London. Now she's back with her husband, her daughter that she shares with her husband, and then she has 2 stepkids. Margot gives me messy. I'm going to just keep it real. She gives me good old-fashioned American messy. She gives me messy. I feel like we'll see more of that later on, but something with her just gave me messy. Now, I hope that everybody, if you are still here, I do appreciate you for watching. I hope you consider liking the video. If you watch quite a few of our videos, also consider subscribing. You are greatly appreciated, whether you subscribe or not, though. We're going to get into Kimmy, who is also an American, but she has been in London for over 25 years. She has 2 kids. Now, Kimmy was weird because she was like, I'm disappointed my son is straight. I'm like, huh? Why are you disappointed in sexuality? And I found it interesting because if she would have been like, I'm disappointed my son is gay, people would have been all over it. It would have been a big deal, a big discussion. But because she says she is disappointed that her son is straight, I'm like, did anybody else see a problem with that? How about you just wish for your kids to be healthy and happy? Let their sexuality be their business. Like, as a parent, that's weird to be so invested in it. That's just my opinion. But she was married to a man named Stuart. It sounds like they are still married. It sounds like they're separated. Now, they were married for 23 years. They did not have kids until they were separated. I found that to be so strange. But she made it sound like it's just something that they both wanted in life and they've been together so long, so why do it with someone else? But after they had the kids, she ended up a single mom basically for 4 years. And now he's just now coming back into the kid's life because she's like, they have to know each other. But I mean, co-parenting is going well, but I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? It was weird. Like, they get along so well, but I'm like, you chose to have kids while you were separated. Like, I mean, it's working out, but I'm like, are you going to get a divorce? Or are you guys going to just do the thing that a lot of people over here in America do, which is not be together but never get the divorce. Like, what are y'all doing? Just curious. I'm genuinely confused. But Kimmy, I think her storyline is interesting as well. She seems messy. She's connected. She's a socialite, and her marriage is a disaster, but also incredibly peaceful at the same time, like nothing I've ever seen before. Now, next person we're going to get to know more is Messy Dara. I want to call her Darla. I don't know why I want to call her Darla, but we'll call her Dara. She's an architect. She's extremely busy. Now, Dara has a child with someone who is a prince and has status. The stepmother to her child is a princess. It doesn't sound like Dara raises her kid like that, because she kept saying how she misses her son, and you know, the stepmom's a princess, and she spoke very highly of the stepmom. And I don't know why I feel like she has a problem with the lady or is messy on the low. But we see Micah and Dara meet up in a little scene, and I was like, wow, Dara was actually really nice to Micah. She seemed happy to see her. She was kind to her. She was sweet. She threw her little shade, but she was still like, I could see the friendship in that moment. Now, we learned that Dara's going to have an event, and this is where Micah's like, as a friend would do, Micah's like, I just want to let you know before your event, because all of the people that we just introduced are going to be there. Micah's like, you should know that they were saying and spreading a rumor that you are a madam. And then Micah was like, and I want you to know that I defended you as a friend, and explained like, no, she's an architect. And Dara looks at her and it's just like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't bother me because I know it's not true. And it's like, Dara, what do you mean it doesn't bother you? You know, it's not true. You're an accomplished architect who is the ex-wife of a prince. Your child is in royalty, and you don't care that people are throwing around a rumor that you are a madam. That makes absolutely no sense. I do understand the side of it, though, where it's like, if it's not true, I'm not going to let these bitches faze me. I do get that piece. And if that's the attitude that Dara has, then I'm totally with you, girl, because I wouldn't let a bitch faze me either. But if my friend came to me and was like, I went hard for you because I didn't like what they were saying, and they weren't saying it in good taste or in good spirit, then even if I didn't care, I would be like, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate you. You don't gotta, go to bat for me again, but I'm just gonna pay these hoes dust. Like, I'm gonna ignore them. That's all she had to do. But instead, she made it a thing. And Dara kind of flipped it around and was like, but do you want to know some real tea that I've heard about you? Someone in our friend group is bothered by you. And Micah's like, huh? Why are you making it about me? Like, Dara could have made it just, well, I don't care. Okay, just because you don't care, you have to know that Micah does care. Because how did Mark describe Micah? If y'all watch the episode, Mark described Micah as the sweetest girl ever, almost too nice. And I can see that. She seems very nice. But it's like, she's trying to tell you she defended you and make you aware of something. And you don't have to care, but you don't have to then try to tell her something that may hurt her. It's like, girl, why are you treating this girl like that? But after that little scene, I cannot with Dara. I said, Lord, let this lady, she must not realize that she's being filmed, because the way Dara moves is just messy. She's just messy for no reason. But we're going to move forward to Martha and Missy. They end up meeting up, and we learn more about Missy's dating life. She was a WAG, which is essentially wives and girlfriends of athletes. But she's dated a lot of people. She seems like she just has kids with the people she dates too. But I do respect Missy for telling Martha that it was not a nice rumor to spread about Dara being a madam, and that Dara will not be happy about it. I was like, okay, Missy, you have some sense. But Missy also says that she feels like Lottie, and Missy basically says that Dara made more comments. She's telling Lottie about this. And the comments that she feels were extra and that she can't let go of is that they called Micah low class and tacky. And I was looking at Martha there, because why was Martha just giggling? Just giggling. And I'm like, Missy, you talking to the wrong person. Martha is not going to take none of this seriously. You need to take the advice from Mark and Lottie and leave it there. Martha It's two shakes in the wind. Martha is trying to get her riches built back up. Martha's just giggling and happy to be on TV being messy for a check. Okay, that's what it's given. I said you could have waited and talked. Martha is the friend you go, you have a drink, you giggle, and you don't do nothing too deep with Martha. She's the friend you party with, but you don't call her when you need sound advice. That's what she's given so far. I could be wrong, but that was the first episode, you guys, of Ladies of London. New Reign. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bored. Like the first whole half of the episode, I feel like they spent a little bit too much time introducing us to them, but I feel like they have to spend extra time because it's not like if it's a show with people from America where we could just go on social media, Google people, quick fix, quick find. I mean, yes, we could have done that here, but having the background, because it's different, the social dynamic over in London than it is here, it did help. I am going to be getting up the second review tomorrow and the third the day after that. So there will be Ladies of London reviews back to back to back. And then when the new episode airs, which I believe it airs this Thursday, I will get that review out the day after it airs. And then we will continue with the weekly reviews. But I do appreciate the support of anybody who takes the time to watch this review. It is a new show that we are adding to the roster. It is also a reboot and something new to Bravo. I encourage everybody to see the links in the description of this video so that you can subscribe to myself as well as some other great content creators and Black YouTubers. Some of them do music like Also Best. Some of them will show you travel blogging such as Naima Travels. And then there are others such as Watch Your Mouth Reviews, Shayna_MCD, and Kiwan JTV, who also do reality television commentary and reviews such as myself. But other than that, I appreciate everybody. Thug life. I bid you farewell and we'll see you on the next review. Adios.